Okay, so my name is Susie Esmont Beeson. My presentation is called Moving from I Hate Mansfield to I Heart Mansfield, Discovering Community. And I think many of us share kind of a love-hate relationship with this place we call home. And sometimes it's just hard to live here, but sometimes it's also pretty great. So I'm going to talk about that. So here's an article I found in the News Journal last week, which seemed particularly timely since I knew I wanted to talk about community today. Ohioans don't much like Ohio. This probably does not come as a surprise to most of you. We've all heard people complaining about living here, and maybe you're one of the ones doing the complaining, but anyway, I was born and raised in Mansfield, and I've always heard people speaking negatively about this place. No one seemed particularly excited about living here, in fact, quite the opposite. I Hate Mansfield was kind of a general theme you just get used to, and Mansfield seems to have sort of a collective low self-esteem, which is kind of sad, but anyway, that once described me. I have somehow moved from hating this place to loving it, and we all know that Mansfield will never be Seattle or San Francisco, but it does have a lot of great qualities if you're open to exploring. This is me at 17, young, adventurous, and chomping at the bit, so eager to get away from here as far as I possibly could. The idea of staying was absolutely abysmal and depressing, and so, yeah, there was nothing much to do except hanging out at Denny's all hours of the night, or maybe cruising the Strip, but anyway. So I left. I found my way to Southern California and eventually to Bellingham, Washington, which we see here, where I went to school and spent the next 10 years. This is actually a view of the campus. It's my school there. You can't argue with the natural beauty of the place. It has a thriving downtown, great schools, cultural diversity, and lots to do. But some health problems and relationship problems emerged, and the need for family support drew me back here to Mansfield. And it was never intended to be a permanent move, but more like a temporary stop where I could catch my breath and get my feet under me. But what happened surprised me. I found community. Community is a word that gets thrown around a lot, but I discovered what it actually means. And I'm not talking about a static group of people who simply live in the same town. It's much more than that. Community to me is a verb. It's the act of being in relationship with those around you. So, through volunteer work with the Friends of Mansfield Parks, subbing and coaching in Mansfield City Schools, and most of all by participating actively and working in the downtown community, I have formed relationships with many people and have found deeper meaning here. And I think participation is maybe the key word here. Nothing happens by itself by sitting at home in isolation. You have to make the choice to become involved, to seek out and connect with others, and that's how it happens. This place can be every bit as cool as Seattle or Portland, and being in a small town means accessibility. You can know everyone. Downtown Mansfield is really a special place. If you've spent much time here, you know that. It has transformed from the ghost town it was 20 years ago to a place full of life that's become the home to many new entities like Relax, Richland Source, Little Buckeye, Saffron. The list goes on and on, Blackbird. But the question is, how do you get involved? Volunteering is one way. Once I realized that I'd be here for a while where my family could help me raise my kids, I committed to finding ways to make Mansfield as much like Bellingham as I could. I decided to bloom where I'd been planted and began looking for opportunities to contribute. Now, having spent countless hours with my kids seeking free fun in the parks of Bellingham and seeing how sad our local parks are by comparison, I got involved with a new group, the Friends of Mansfield Parks. And with them, I've helped with cleanups, the Summer Fun in the Parks program, which you see here, and I've even produced a newsletter at one point in time. And if you're interested, anyone, we're going to be in Middle Park tomorrow morning cleaning up trash at 9 a.m. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I'm a total commitment phobe, and many of us, I think, are afraid to step up for fear of getting sucked in and stretched too thin. I mean, who really has time for